take it slow. Got that fire roar. Wheels of fury tear the track. Hear that engine soar. Me mad, shifting gears, push it to the core. Kill a Kyle on my tail. Feel the tension roar. Ain't no rules in this game. Every breath I fight. Pound the pedal, scream for speed through the endless night.
So next for me, oh yeah, is a team that was, they did commentary in the 80s. They weren't a team for very long, but you know, two guys that I'm sure a lot of people would remember as a commentary team. Now, these two are probably one of a few commentary teams. There hasn't been very many teams that you could say, oh, they were both wrestlers. But these two were, and I remember listening to them two commentary together. I enjoyed them. Monsoon and Lord Alfred Hayes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think Lord Alfred Hayes was one of those guys. You want to look at a classic example of an English gentleman.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it was said that Lord Alfred Hayes never cussed.
Right.
So, good on him, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two guys, like, you look at Lord Alfred Hayes also doing the updates, and I remember hearing a lot about, you know, where they're going to be in what city, his updates for WrestleMania or SummerSlam. And yeah, I mean, they were very good color commentators as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Now, I'm trying to think how, like, I don't remember them together that much. That's the thing. They weren't together in the mid-80s, I know that.
Yes.
And so, both, I think, polar opposites.
Yeah.
They got the giant Italian guy and this kind of old Englishman who made a good pair.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, again, they're up there in commentator land.
Yeah.
And it'll be, interesting to see if there's, there'll never be another person like Lord Alfred Hayes.
Yeah. Yeah, Lord Alfred Hayes is such a unique character, unique person.
I mean, this isn't on my list, but like Lord Alfred Hayes and Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah, they were good together.
But yeah, definitely when you look at shows, like shows that were on pay-per-views and seeing those two on commentator.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Ring, headlocks in this brutal fling. I crave that raw aggression, swollen muscles flex.
Now we go on to this team, the longevity that you don't realize until you watch DVDs. And this was, you talk about Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross being two polar opposites. The rebel and the redneck. You have one Paul E. Dangerously, Paul Heyman, and Jim Ross.
Yeah, and like Paul knew how to pull out mean side of JR, I'll call it.
Yeah.
Because like the two of them would just go like I remember Paul talking about it, and he said that him and JR didn't really like each other. That's what made them so good as a team. I wouldn't necessarily say they hated each other, but they had that disdain for each other, and Paul knew how to push Jim's buttons enough to get a reaction out of Jim, and that's what made them entertaining.
Yeah.
Paul being the loudmouth, cocky Jew from New York,
Yeah.
and JR being the calm, level-headed Oklahoma country boy. They did commentary with each other in WCW. They would also later on again do commentary with each other in the WWE in 2001. And yeah, they JR hands down is one of the best commentators of all time. Paul knew how to bring out a different side of JR, so to speak.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at someone like Paul Heyman was ahead of his time.
Yes.
You look at the WCW, you look at a guy who has the long rocker hair, carries the brick cell phone, has that swag about him, has that attitude, has a match with Jim Cornette. The Dangerous Alliance.
Yes.
And yeah, doing commentary with Jim Ross, and then go to WWF at the time, and you have the invasion angle, and you have Jim Ross and Paul Heyman arguing with each other.
Yeah.
It wasn't no Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross. It was fucking Ben. It was just weird to see these two guys. You haven't seen each other or been around each other for a decade or whatever, and yeah, just to pick up where they left off, but also because Paul Heyman was ECW and Jim Ross was WWF, just the arguments they would have in commentary.
Yeah.
And you look at when Jerry Lawler comes back the night after Survivor Series.
Right.
And Paul Heyman tries to get back into the desk. And you see Jim Ross just clamoring on his back for some reason.
Right, yeah.
And then they carry Paul Heyman out.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you, those two. But then I had mentioned this before. Well, they would have had to have a mutual respect for each other.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know they
sure.
did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Paul was up there talking about Jim Ross's wife and how she battled cancer and how he tried to be there for them. And that was, just the kind of, they didn't like each other, but you knew that they respected each other.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. Now, I had already mentioned one of these guys previously in a peck of mine, and Jesse Ventura, and of course his pairing with Vince McMahon. And there's another guy that he worked with in WCW, and Jesse and this particular individual had, I believe, really good chemistry together.
But Kyle, keep to the ring, oh yeah! Don't you grapple with my...
We did really good on commentary together in WCW, and they weren't really a commentary team for very long, but I mean, early, mid-90s-ish? Anyways, I'm sure a lot of people will remember them as a commentary team, but Jesse Ventura And Tony Schiavone.
Hell yeah. I'll go one further. 1991, I believe it was. Or maybe earlier than that. Tony Schiavone working for WWF.
Yeah.
And him and Jesse.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, those two were very entertaining together.
Yes.
And I mean, it's one of those things where you go, if Jesse would have stayed in wrestling, the chemistry he would have with other people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, you know, and I mean, Tony's still at it to this day. And he doesn't miss a beat. That's what I love about a lot of these guys that are still in it. They're in it, but they don't half-ass it.
Oh, no.
It's like, I'm too tired to be the same. No, they're on all the time.
Yeah. They will bring it from the start of the show to the end of the show. Whether it's 2 hours, whether it's 3 hours, whatever, they bring it consistently.
And I mean, yeah, I think that those two in WCW, I'm sure were very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at a lot of the pay-per-views that they had.
Yeah.
It's just the outfits
Jesse
that Jesse would
wore.
wear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, definitely a unique tag team that, unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever see again.
Probably not.
But, I mean, Schiavone will go as far as he does now, and,
Yeah.
and we'll see how long that lasts.
Yep.
So I was trying to look for another team, same guys, but I found this instead.
Yeah.
And it actually works because all three of them did work together in Ring of Honor, but you've got another former wrestler. There's a theme here, and
Yeah.
By the ring, headlocks in this brutal fling. I crave
Kevin
that.
Kelly and Steve Corino.
Yeah, they were great together in Ring of Honor.
But you also look at, like, Steve Corino and Nigel McGuinness. Yes, you also had Kevin Kelly there.
Yeah.
When I first started watching Ring of Honor, like, not the best of Ring of Honor, but actually Ring of Honor, it reminded me of old school WWF meets ECW.
Yeah.
And I mean the gritty camera work
Yeah.
and ECW style, and then
Yeah.
of course the backstage interviews,
Yeah.
kind of like WWF.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you know, and you look at Steve Corino, the guy, as much as he was a good wrestler in ECW, he was one of the best commentators in wrestling
Oh,
at
absolutely.
that time.
Yes, for sure.
And that's obviously where you get right in the ding-ding.
Yeah. Like Steve Corino and Kevin Kelly were two guys that they just worked so well off of each other.
Yeah.
And you know, Kevin Kelly, another guy that also worked for a little while with the WWF at the time.
Yeah.
It was a short period of time, but
Yeah, I mean, that's an unfortunate thing too, but, you know, that's true. I think he could have lasted longer, but that's, you know, it is what it is.
yeah.
I think he also did a very good career in Ring of Honor, and I think, yeah, I'm not quite sure where he stands now, but he, you know, and then Steve Corino, you look at that group he had with Kevin Sullivan and B.J. Whitner
Yeah.
and Punishment Martinez,
Yeah.
who everybody knows now as Damian Priest.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what Corino's up to now.
I know he does indie shows.
Yeah. And I think, you know, along with them doing commentary for Ring of Honor, they would also do the English commentary for
Japan?
Wrestle Kingdom.
Wrestle Kingdom, yeah. Yeah, there was a match. I think maybe you were telling me. Where the two guys went in the ring and they're like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, or whatever.
Yeah.
And Steve trying to hide his laughter.
Yeah, Steve had to shut off his microphone because he was laughing so hard. It was like 5 or 6 years ago or so.
Yeah.
That happened. Yeah. So my next one, sticking with WCW, talk of Tony Schiavone and Jesse Ventura as a commentary team in WCW for a little bit. How about we go a little bit after that or before that? I believe after. And Tony Schiavone and a guy I already mentioned. Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, I mean, coming into WCW, again, you look at the times that were changing because Vince did not want to have the old, he was changing it up, the new generation, if you will.
Yeah.
So you had guys like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
And Ricky Steamboat and all those guys go over to WCW. I mean, Ricky was there before, but
Yeah.
you had other guys like Mean Gene, Bobby the Brain Heenan. And, yeah. Him in commentary, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing though, because he was just as annoying.
Oh yeah.
I mean, was it Halloween Havoc? Something happened in that monster truck match.
Oh yeah.
And then I think the giant fell off or whatever.
Yeah.
The whole time, Bobby's just like shitting bricks because he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Tony's trying to calm him down.
Yeah. That's just the way Bobby was, though.
Yeah.
That's what made Bobby so good, in my opinion, though. Just, he was so off the rails, but that's what made it so entertaining.
Yeah, that's the thing. Two very polar opposite, but entertaining people, and that's exactly what you need.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously the crowd isn't going to hear you, but the people at home get to watch a match, but also hear two people just talking about the match or, taking jabs at each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, it's a shame that we did lose Bobby, and just the rough shape he was in the years prior to his death.
Yeah.
But there will never be another Brain
No.
or Weasel.
Yeah, I remember when Bobby first came into WCW, introduced by Mean Gene Oakland. It was Great American Bash. It was a pay-per-view of some kind, Mean Gene introduced Bobby, and Bobby comes out, and Mean Gene goes, "Can't you just leave me alone? You gotta follow me here too." And they're like, "Yeah, really."
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure why I remember this, but I do very vividly. This team didn't last very long. I think it was only 1995.
The ring, headlocks in this brutal fling. I crave that.
With Gorilla, not with Vince, but Vince McMahon and Stan Lane.
Right.
Then obviously, years later, finding out that Stan was a wrestler with Bobby Eaton.
Yep.
But, at the time, not knowing that. But the vignettes that him and Gorilla would do outside the studio would just go out and about.
Right,
Yeah, he was a good commentator, but again, it was only a year, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, obviously there's not too much to say, but
Yeah.
it was definitely something that is obscure, but I definitely remember, yeah, Stan Lane was a commentator before I knew he was a wrestler.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like Doc Hendricks and the Blaze.
Yeah, pretty much. So, for me, I'm thinking of commentator teams to put on my list, I had to throw JR and the King on there. I had to throw Gorilla Monsoon and Heenan on there. And then I'm just thinking about, commentary teams that I remember and that I liked and that were really, really good. This team I thought of just randomly, and I do remember them quite well as a team. And they were very, very good. I don't remember it happening very, very much. From what I do remember of it, it was quite good and quite entertaining. We've talked about WWF, we've talked about TNA, we've talked about Ring of Honor. Why not throw ECW in there? And I went with Joey Styles and Shane Douglas.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now, for quite a long period of time, it was only Joey Styles doing the commentary for ECW, calling the regular TV shows and then all the pay-per-views. And then later into the 90s is when they started having people do commentary with Joey. Like, with commentary duos, you've got the play-by-play guy and the color guy. Well, in the beginning, Joey basically had to do both. And then they would have, wrestlers join Joey in the commentary booth, and Shane Douglas is one of them. And yeah, like, Joey being the energetic, eccentric, over-the-top announcer, and, Shane Douglas being the heel wrestler that, talked about himself and talked about, triple threat, and, would talk about, basically put everybody down and, just be, the heel on commentary and whatever. They did very well together.
I mean, you look at, like, the team, and you look at Joey Styles, somebody that came in the wrestling business. It was Eastern Championship Wrestling.
Yes.
And then, of course, go all the way to when the doors closed.
Yes.
And then later on going into One Night Stand.
Yes.
And then the WWE CW bullshit.
Yeah.
And then Shane Douglas. NWA, WCW, ECW, WWF, TNA.
Yeah.
There was nobody that has been in all 5 promotions.
True.
And this guy, obviously I wish he would have had a better career in WWF.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Sean. And I think that, I mean, again, one of those guys that was kind of bringing that new attitude to professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, ECW was already there, like Eastern Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
But it was just like, that promo where he has the NWA title.
Yeah.
You can all just kiss my ass!
Throws the title down and proclaimed himself the new ECW champion. Yeah. I will add just one thing. Yes, Joey did do commentary for the 2006 reincarnation of ECW. Joey also for, I believe, a couple years did commentary for Raw.
That's right.
And then, there was the whole thing with the Spirit Squad trying to get Joey to announce Mikey or Nikki or whoever the fuck it was as new WWE champion. He quit. But then I had seen or had read that he had gotten a job doing something with the WWE.com. I don't know if he still does that or not, though. I think so.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. But I mean, yeah, a very, very memorable announcer and just the catchphrase.
Yeah.
And, cat fight! And all that stuff. And I think, again, this is another one of those things where it's like, that voice came out of that body.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I mean, yeah, the shoot that he cut on Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
You could feel the passion.
Oh yeah.
Like, what has professional wrestling become?
Yeah.
And it's a shame because, yeah, I kind of understood that, but I was still a true WWE fan. And I still am to this day.
Yeah.
But I understood where Joey was coming from.
Yeah.
And again, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
The ring, headlocks in this brutal fling. I crave that
Before. And yeah. Taz also did commentary in TNA Wrestling. And I have Mike Tenay and Taz.
Yeah. They were a pretty good team together.
Yeah. Honestly, I hated Taz in TNA. I mean, well, I hated heel Taz.
Heel
TNA.
Taz, yeah.
I think the whole thing, the way, so, I mean, when you turn heel, there's a certain way. I think Taz screwed it all up
Yeah, probably.
when he would join Aces and Eights, and it's like, whatever. But, no, I mean, I don't know, it just seemed off. I mean, obviously Mike Tenay did a hell of a better job in his tenure.
Yeah, Mike Tenay and Taz were a fairly good team. When he went heel, it's like, okay, yeah, it was kind of working, but it was also one of those things where it's like, it's taking away from Taz as a commentator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it almost seemed like, oh, okay, now say something opposite that you would if you were a face.
Right, yeah.
Or something along those lines. I just thought it was really hokey, and I didn't enjoy that at all. But, I mean, obviously Taz is a better commentator in All Elite Wrestling.
Right, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that now that Hook is injured, the rumors that him coming to NXT, that would be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I could see that happening.
Yeah. I mean, Regal's there with his kid,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Well, for me, Joey and Shane was my last one. I don't have anybody else on my list. Well, I mean, okay, when you had Michael Cole and JBL commentary together.
The ring, headlocks in this brutal fling. I crave that
JBL, I mean, yeah, it's still hard to believe, and it's been a hell of a long time that JBL has been commentator.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, because when you looked at the Raw throwback, or old school Raw, and you had the APA come back out,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know if it's just me, but JBL just did the clothesline from hell with his grandpa arm.
Crap. Yeah, really.
But, you know, and that's the thing. You get kind of, not old, but worn out and injured. That's all you can do is be a commentator.
Yeah, essentially, I guess.
I think JBL, I mean, he was well past 40 at this point.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, oh, it's still young enough, but hey, if you don't want to do it no more, then, you know, what can you do?
Yeah, basically.
So now that we did our list, we're going to talk about honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not totally familiar with this team. I have watched a few matches from Memphis Wrestling. But we're talking about a guy that was the voice of
The ring, headlocks in this brutal fling. I crave that.
have Lance Russell and Dave Brown.
We did our video on our favorite commentators in general. It was rather unfortunate that, you know, Lance Russell got left off there, but, you know, have him on this list. You know, yeah, Lance and Dave were quite good together. Lance being the no-nonsense commentator, if you will, and Dave Brown being the, I don't know, level-headed one, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know too much about Memphis Wrestling and commentator-wise, although, yeah, I obviously know Lance Russell, Jackie Fargo, and all those, well, you know, and we're going to talk about this match to death. Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler, the empty arena match.
Yeah. Now, it was just Lance calling that.
I mean, you look at someone like Lance who just stands there, and then, I don't know if he thought the camera was on him and he's smoking a cigarette, and then he puts it out.
Yeah. He's standing there, he lights up a cigarette, smoke it. Oh, we're rolling, okay, throws it down, puts it in, and says, alright. Here we are inside the Memphis Coliseum with Barry Lawler, Terry Funk, and here comes Funk now. And, yeah. Of course, you know, that was back in the 70s, so I mean...
80, 81. I think it was 81, actually.
81.
The ring, headlocks in this brutal fling. I crave that.
Honorable mention. Yeah, he talked about Vince and Jesse, Jesse and Tony.
Yeah.
We talk Jesse the Body Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah. Yeah, they were a really good commentary team.
I mean, just the whole, like, Jesse was always that guy who came up with horseshoes and hand grenades and,
Yeah.
don't give credit where credit is due, Monsoon.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And, yeah, it was a very cool, like, voice of that generation as well.
Right.
You talk about Heenan and Gorilla or Vince and Jesse, and it's like, yeah, it was very cool to watch.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure.
So, talking about Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone, yes, they worked very well in WCW in the old days. By that I mean late 80s, whatever.
Yeah.
You have these two guys now, and Jim is well into his 70s,
Yes.
and he still, like, you know, beat cancer. He still has Bell's palsy.
Yeah.
Beside the ring, headlocks in this brutal fling. I crave.
Tony Schiavone and Excalibur.
Yeah, the current commentary team for All Elite Wrestling.
And I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's cool to see not only two people, but three people doing commentary.
Yeah, WWE has done 3-man commentary booths for quite a number of years. For It's been off and on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you talk about, to, for a guy like Excalibur who has, who is a wrestler, probably was. I don't know if Excalibur still wrestles, but I do know he did wrestle, and then, to be alongside two, you can say, legends like Tony Schiavone and JR, to commentary. What a treat that must be.
Yeah, oh god. I mean, yeah, I think when you have two legends like that, it makes your company even better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the knowledge, and not to mention, forgetting that Jim Ross was a referee at Mid-South.
Oh yeah, that's right too.
And so coming from that, and I think those three guys actually work really well together. And then you threw in Taz.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, and they're still going strong to this day.
Well, how about this? So, we just talked about the current All Elite Wrestling commentary trio. How about we go to another current commentary team and two guys that, work really well together, love what they're doing. They have an absolute blast doing commentary together. They are funny. They are, they bring out the best in each other, and I'm sure, one commentator has a lot to learn from, a well-established veteran commentator.
The ring, headlocks in this brutal fling. I crave that
Commentary duo for WWE, Raw or SmackDown, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole.
Yeah, when Pat McAfee went into WWE, NXT especially, I fucking hated him.
Yeah.
So annoying. But yeah, here's somebody that came from football. And again, a lot of wrestlers come from football.
Oh yeah.
And when he was going to have that match with Adam Cole, and I even said in the video, there's going to be a lot of potatoes in that match. I hope Adam likes his starch.
Yeah.
But then you watch the match, and you're like humbled.
Yeah.
Because you're like, that guy could fucking wrestle.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know who trained him, but I mean, you think about it, yeah, he's a punter in football, but the guy could fucking wrestle. There's not too many other athletes in sports that can go into the ring and do what Pat did.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, well, I'm not even talking about celebrities, because look at Logan Paul.
Or Bad Bunny.
But Pat was the guy who could go in the ring and hang with the boys.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, yeah, he grew on me. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
Admit it, he grew on me. And I mean, the thing for WrestleMania 38, where he gets stunned by Austin.
Yeah.
And they're doing the beer thing. You could just see Pat lying on his back, swelling a beer.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah. In reality, he's just a big kid.
And Pat's only had a handful of matches, but he's had some absolute bangers. Now, let's not go into that absolute fucking travesty of him against Vince.
No.
But, yeah, I mean, you look at McAfee, against Adam Cole, the War Games match he had in NXT, or him against, can't think of it, Miz.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Shit. I mean, yeah. there could be, like, I could have not been more wrong about somebody in the business. Alright, so let's close this out with these two guys that had a very lengthy feud in TNA. And these two guys, we talked about their epic tag team match. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was. But you have Jeremy Borash and Josh Matthews.
Oh, yeah.
And I know Josh Matthews, when he was in WWE, you know, just a commentator, just a kid, he didn't really have any personality.
Not really.
But as soon as he went to TNA, it was like this guy was coming off as an arrogant prick, you know. And then you have his feud with Josh Matthews, and like, you get that match with Jeremy and Abyss versus Scott Steiner and Josh Matthews, and it's like very, very interesting. And I mean,
let's get those fat asses.
Yeah, exactly. That was a fun year.
Yeah.
And it's like, you wanted to see, and that's how good Josh Matthews was.
Yeah.
And that's how good you have to be as a heel. You have to be that fucking obnoxious, so somebody will kick your ass and the fans are gonna go ballistic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that was an awesome feud. And I mean, Jeremy Borash really sold it well too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, you know, yeah, Josh did commentary for WWE. I think he was having a hard time finding his own. And then, you know, once he went to TNA, he found his own, which is great, which is kind of unfortunate how that went. But before Josh was doing commentary for WWE, I do believe he wrestled a little bit in WWE, but before that, he was on Tough Enough.
Yep. Yeah, a skinny little boy on Tough Enough.
Yeah.
Especially in TNA. I'm sorry, but sleeve tattoos aren't gonna make you look tough.
No.
But yeah, you know, just to go back and watch that feud.
Yeah.
And then you look at, you know, you speak of WCW as well. Jeremy Borash had his time in the closing parts of WCW.
Yeah.
So, well, this video's long enough.
Exactly.
Giggity.
Oh.
But obviously, like the last commentary, best of video or whatever, this is going to be cut into probably 3 pieces. The 3 videos, rather.
3 parts.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
But this was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I would like to mention that we got the idea during this video, watching a video of Brian Zane.
yep.
On his channel, Wrestling with Regret, he did this video with his commentary colleague for Prestige. I don't remember the guy's name, but yeah. Shout out to Brian Zane.
Subscribe to Wrestling with Regret,
Yes.
as well as me and Killer Kyle. Yes, this was a long video, but what do you expect for the anniversary?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since we've done a long-ass video, so I mean...
But this will be cut into 3 parts or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, so for me and Matt, this is Killer Kyle. And we will, all my infections should be over soon.
Right.
We will get into a little celebration.
Right.
But anyways, when we come back, the king and queen of the ring.
And Double or Nothing.
So that'll be a double episode.
Right.
But it's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us. We will talk to you next time. Deuces.
Bye.
The wheels of fury, they spin, they roar. Never halting. The end's now calling.